how long does the body have to sit there before you say no?
All right.
Because, like, Antonio was like, the only way, like, I'm going to donate my body to you guys, so, like, you guys can do whatever you want to do. Cannibalism, sexual needs. And so I looked at you, and I'm like, well, I don't know why I always imagined that the cannibalism would happen while Antonio was alive.
That's what I always pictured, too.
Like, it's
Why
fresh?
is that?
Because it's
Like, you don't want to dry
that
age
way.
me?
You want to be smoked, Antonio?
I want to be smoked, cured. I would like to go the full gamut. I would like to be put out of my misery first. I don't want to be alive.
How do you want us to prepare you?
I don't know.
Because I assumed she was going to
There's
take a
enough
chomp,
of me
chomp,
for you
chomp.
guys to go like, do whatever the fuck you need. Fuck, you could do like a beef jerky if you want.
A Slim Jim? Yeah.
I'm disgusted. Okay, so the body needs to be fresh for you to eat it. That is correct.
How fresh? Like minutes old?
I feel like if it wasn't still alive, I mean, like, you know, when you kill an animal and you do all the things to it, you salvage all the stuff, but if you keep it alive, that's kind of fucked up, though. You wouldn't do that to an animal.
But why were we imagining Antonio alive, though, is my question.
I don't know, because you've never eaten a person before, so your brain just got...
Who said?
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa,
I think
whoa.
it's clear you have not eaten a person.
What about me says, you know what? You got the look of someone who's not eating another human
Have you
being.
looked at yourself in the mirror?
You look soft.
I would just like to thank the government agents that are listening into this phone call right now.
For not, like, you know, taking us down quite yet.
We've talked about cannibalism at least 5 times.
But
I would like a cured you.
like a dry aged, right?
With a little nice cheese and crackies.
A charcuterie.
A charcuterie.
Make me a Wellington. Turn me into a Wellington.
Make me a Wellington.
Or, you know, serve me up as fucking like mystery meat Taco Bell.
So it's either Wellington or mystery meat. Dahlia,
What
if
the
you
hell
were
are you
eating, how
guys
would
talking about?
Okay, no,
Eating
this is
me.
the question.
How
Dahlia,
would I
if
eat
you
the meat of a cannibal, like me being
how
a
no,
cannibal?
how do you want to be prepared if you were to be eaten?
For people consuming me.
yeah.
People consuming me.
A
Whatever
carpaccio.
they do to the
Yeah.
meat in Lunchables, I just want to become a Lunchable.
Oh, no.
That is the roughest process a person
That's-
can go through.
Disgusting, dude.
Come on, ham and crackers.
I
You're
mean,
gonna turn into
okay.
the pink goop from fucking Teletubbies.
yeah.
Yeah, make me
Yeah.
that.
That's tubby custard, not goop. Anyway, so lunch.
I wish you were
Lunch-
recording.
I'm
Because the absolute face of disgust you just gave me.
Lunchables, got it. Charcuterie or Taco Bell meat, got it. Dahlia.
I think I would do something that's like slow roasted stuff, like birria type
Birria?
shit.
What about carne asada?
No.
Nope.
Birria. It's juicy, delectable, tender. And I
And
would
they serve it at weddings.
yeah, and baby showers.
Lovely.
All right.
I would like to be Korean barbecued.
That's a good one.
That sounds absolutely correct.
Everyone partake. Grill me, mommy.
The flesh of Christ.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Quetzal. Hey y'all, welcome to Sit Down Loser. We're watching a movie. My name's Dahlia.
I'm Sky.
I'm Antonio.
And I'm Ketzel.
And we're just 4 middle-aged gays pining for their childhood crushes who watch movies that everyone else has watched. Except one of us is a loser who hasn't. Today, we're watching a movie that shows that sometimes small-town gays can survive. Big Eden, released in 2000, directed by Thomas Bazooka. And today's loser is...
It's me!
Dahlia!
Surprise, surprise.
I feel like I was also the loser in the last one. Yes, I was.
You all were.
Brokety back mountain.
Brokety backy.
Broke back. I wish I knew how to quit you.
I don't remember what I kept saying in that episode, otherwise I would say it now.
Thank
Also,
God
my
you
throat
did it.
hurts, so I'm not gonna say it.
But look, here we are again. Queer films.
T.
Is this on the Rasta?
I think that's a question for later. I put it on, but that's because
Antonio is the keeper of the syllabus, remember?
I am not. I don't speak for all the gays.
You're the professor. You're Professor
doesn't.
Antonio.
I don't speak for all the gays, but this is definitely extra credit material if I was.
Oh, okay.
see, this is exactly why I hated that you asked this question, Dahlia.
Oh shit, it's a divided household. Mommy and daddy are
All right.
fighting.
But let's go into
Daddy
why.
and Daddy are fighting.
I was like,
fighting.
they're my dads. I'd run away.
I'm
Daddy
definitely
and Papa.
mommy. I am definitely mommy.
I'm not a monster.
I hate. All right, why did we pick this for Dahlia to watch?
Pride, baby.
Pride. It's Pride.
Woo, woo.
It's Pride, babe.
It's Pride, babe. And in this movie, there's no homophobia, only love. And I love that for Pride.
I love that. Do you guys feel
We
like your
love
powers have increased since June began?
We're on the eve of. So,
Let's pretend
is-
we're in the time machine.
I can't tell you about the future.
Bitch, you done ruined it. Fuck you. Fuck this. Fuck that. I'm walking out.
No. I would keep that in. Just a little peek behind the curtains here. We are recording this in May.
It's
Well,
the time machine,
we're not,
Antonio.
It's not like we're super crazy behind. Once, Ketzel's birthday is over, because we're gonna, celebrate that slightly. Then it's officially Pride Month.
Do you think that Pride Month happens because it's the celebration of my birth?
No.
Yes.
Okay, I kind of want to take away Antonio being the keeper of the syllabus now.
No, he can keep it, actually. I know I
Okay.
said some whack shit earlier about my friend Antonio, but he can stay.
Tell me
My
some more
good sis
things.
Antonio.
Sis Antonia.
Look. You just gotta dig at people all the time, and then the one time you give them some sugar, they really latch on. They're like, yay.
All right, I'm going to read number 2. All right, so the second reason we picked this is because it's Ketzel's favorite movie that barely anybody has heard of because they're different.
It's true.
just-
I'm
Different.
I'm not like other gals and ghouls.
not. Am I just better than everyone?
Clearly,
It's true.
because
It's my favorite.
I've never heard of this movie, Ketzel. Never.
I'd never heard of it either.
Me neither. Which is why I say it's extra credit material.
However, though, is good. I liked it. And
I
as
was
you
worried.
can tell by Antonio's tone this whole time, he don't.
I don't care for it that much.
But you know why?
I've
You know
watched-
why? Because this is a rom-com.
I
And
like
there's romance
rom-coms.
You hate romance and love.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I would say 9 times out of 10 you do. There's that one time you do, and then the other 9 times you're like, I could
It's
do without
boring.
this.
Oh, you mean the Cinderella story?
Yeah,
I
that's
fucking
the
That I
one
love
time.
still have
Cinderella
never
story.
let
that,
go.
that
I know
one,
you
and
do.
he's just not that into you.
Yep, that one too.
Right.
Well, it is.
Anyway,
Okay. It is ahead of its time. It's about gays and then the Native Americans as a romantic lead for the year 2000, the double aught. It's a legendary, approach. And maybe it does deserve a little bit more hype from other people.
I just think it's funny. I just think
Yeah.
it's funny.
go ahead, Sky. Get him.
No, I just think it's funny. That you sit here and say this now. I said, I just think it's funny you sit here and say this now. Did it just click in your head by
Yeah,
reading
you're
that?
sitting here. You're sitting there where I stood.
You've stood on this couch.
I've stood on it. Let me for me to give you my 2 cents real quick about why this is. Well, we're doing the whole thing. We're all watching each other's favorite movies, but I will sit down anybody with a pulse and be like, "Do you want to watch a good ass film?" And I will sit you down, make you watch Big Eden because I fucking love this film. It's got all the rom-com stops, airport scene, miscommunication, pining, meddling neighbors, and it's gay and diverse, and it's from 2000. It's amazing.
That was a lot of
amazing.
stuff in that sandwich. So many
I
things.
know.
I can't wait to take a bite.
Yeah, it's like just your run-of-the-mill rom-com. It's just so delightful. Just fucking gay. And I guess from you being friends with me, do you know anything about this film?
No.
No one does. It's okay.
I have no semblance at all.
Three
except for-
people know about this movie. They're all in this room, kind of.
I don't know anything at all. Like, I
Perfect.
hear you guys talk about it, and then I hear what you just said about it, but like I cannot visually see or like think about anything. To me, you're just saying words, but I like those words.
Yeah, I mean, like, just imagine all the, like, the 2000 rom-coms. Like, super cheesy-ass 2000s rom-coms. Double aughts rom-coms. That's it. Make it gay.
But make it gay.
Rotten Tomato scores. And I got a bone to pick with Rotten Tomato on this one.
Ooh.
Rotten Tomato is 64%. Audience is 79. Google users is 88.
Okay, so the fans like the movie. The critics
Yeah.
do not.
Which I don't understand. I'm not going to pretend to sit here and understand what's happening.
Well, I mean, Sky, you said
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know math.
objective. What did you say? Objectively, you're like Charlie's Angels was a bad movie because of X, Y, and Z. Could that be said about this film?
I don't want anybody to put a hit out on me.
No,
You know,
go
I will
ahead.
say maybe I'll when I watch it again, I'll look at it from that lens, because every time I've watched it, I did go in knowing it was Ketzel's favorite movie, and I did enjoy it.
But you love rom-coms.
And I love
It's like-
rom-coms, so even bad
that's
rom-coms,
why.
I'm like, I love them. So I'd have to watch this movie from that lens that I've
And see if
put
it's
out for everybody.
actually good.
Okay.
Like, objectively. If it's objectively, like good writing, all that.
So-
all what I said.
Question about things just being good and people liking them, but things are actually good. Is peanut butter and jelly actually good?
I actually don't like
Yes.
peanut butter and jelly.
I like peanut butter and jelly,
I don't, actually.
I like peanut butter and jelly.
but only when it's grape jelly.
You don't?
I don't. I like them separately. Like, I'll eat a peanut butter sandwich, and then I'll eat, like, a jelly sandwich. I will not eat them together.
I like peanut butter with a little bit of jelly.
Huh. I was like trying to figure it out. I was like, I don't know if I care about this.
I don't like it together. I like it separately.
Kettle.
I like it.
It's like something that the fans like, but I don't know if it's like actually good at its core.
I used to eat a lot of jelly sandwiches, and then we finally got to eat peanut butter, and that was a nice little addition.
I love jelly sandwiches. Jelly sandwiches are so good.
Yeah, it's a. I guess it's one of those like things that like switches on perhaps the childhood brain of like
It's like
PB&J,
Kraft macaroni and
you know?
cheese. That is definitely not great, but it's good.
I'll still eat it.
It's actually
I
been
didn't grow
so
up with
long.
mac and cheese, so
I did. Either the Velveeta box or the Kraft Blue.
Blue box.
my mommy thought it was nasty.
That's because it is nasty.
But we eat a lot
Some
of cup
of us
ramen.
didn't have that choice.
Some of
And
us
we
did.
were grateful.
You know how many maruchan I had to eat
Don't even talk to me about
during the
Maruchan.
glow up?
No.
During the fucking glow up, my brother still can't stand the smell of a cup ramen because of his trauma.
Anywho.
Anyway, but back to the film. I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm curious to see Sky's reading this objectively because I feel like your bias comes from you loving me. Thank you. Your love of rom-coms.
I live my
I
love
would say it
rom-coms.
comes more from my love of rom-coms, because if we can all
Go
recall Pacific Rim, I hated that movie for a very long time because Ketzel loved it so much.
You liked it when you first watched it, so don't get it twisted.
I
And
just
then
said
you
the word kaiju
you realized
today.
how much I
And you were
loved
like,
it.
Yeah.
I did, because that's what we call Gilly and Charlie when they fight.
Yeah, I love Pacific Rim. But this film, to me, is like my comfort film. Like, I saw it on Tumblr, like some GIF sets or something. It's like, oh, like a movie you've never seen that like is queer and great. And I watched it. And then during that rental period of like a couple days, I watched it 4 times. And I'm like, this is what it's like to have a favorite movie. I've never felt this way before. And this was like only like 5 years ago, maybe 5, 6, yeah, about 5 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, I just want to watch this film constantly as like a big hug. That's why I love it. So objectively, I'm curious what you think. But for me, my bias is always going to be that it's a comfort film for me.
I love that. It's like Hairspray and Hello Dolly.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm like, this is a good movie. And I mean, every time I've watched it, I've cried. So this time, probably even more.
Oh, I'm going to cry? You better get some tissues all up in here.
We'll see. So the list of actors, you probably won't know them except for one boy maybe. It's Arya Gross, Eric Schweig, Tim Takei, and Louise Fletcher. Now it's Tim Takei's in White Collar. You ever seen a White Collar?
No.
Well, he's in White Collar. That's the only guy I recognize when I watched this film the first time. And I only know White Collar because I watched it with Sky.
I love White Collar.
And I'm going to assume that your expectations are none.
I have
Correct
none.
me if I'm wrong.
I have none except that I will like it.
I hope so.
And if I'm proven wrong, then we're going to have another Pride and Prejudice moment.
I tell anyone, if you like our cheesy rom-com, there's nothing to not love. Antonio's already disappointed me, so you can't hurt me any more than Antonio's hurt me.
Yeah, Antonio causes a very big hurt. And you seem to
live
have
my
bounced
truth.
back from that.
I am who I am.
I am who I am. I
Who I
won't change
am.
myself right
I
now.
am who I am.
I am green ham and eggs.
I am Sam I am.
Anywho,
Okay.
bye.
Okay, bye. See you soon. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Here we are 5 days later. A little zooted, a little high, a little buzzed.
Boz.
Are you already buzzed?
Dude, I've been drinking that.
Who
Look
told
at
who
where
told
you
that?
are. Look at where
Look
I
at how
am.
far you've come.
Look at where you've been.
Hi, we're back.
We're so back.
Yeah, so this is 5 days later because it got really late the other night and I was sicky.
You got too sicky and sleepy.
Just a little sicky.
I know it's been days, but I'm hoping that those feelings are still strong. You still have thoughts. They still stuck with you. So, before we go into the summary that I put my stank on, how'd you feel about the movie, Dahlia? Positively, negatively, ambivalent, but...
Ambivalent.
You're ambivalent?
ambivalently?
Hanana.
No.
I liked it. It made me irritated though, because I feel like I thought I knew where it was going, and then I was like, and no, you better get back here. And I'm like, wait a second. And that's just how it was the whole time. And then, at the end, I felt very pleased. So overall, yeah, I liked it. Would I recommend it to others? Let's save that till the end.
Oop.
it
On
away,
that
pal.
note. Okay. So, our main character is Henry Hart, who is a gay man. And
Right.
Is that like
he's a-
an alligator, but like from, I don't know, San
The
Francisco?
Gaiman Islands.
You would know all about alligators, huh?
That's mean.
Florida man strikes
I
again.
literally, I had my drink in my mouth.
Florida
and
man?
you can't do that.
Florida boy for 2069.
Florida man gay man.
Every time I remember that you were born in Florida, I'm like, that makes so much sense.
It feels so correct.
It just makes
You know,
sense that
the
you were
aliens
hatched
did not
out
arrive
of
in
an
Roswell,
egg
New Mexico. They
in
really came
Florida.
to Jacksonville, Florida.
And Jacksonville, of all places.
that too. That too.
I don't
That's what
know
gets
enough
me
about
down.
Jacksonville. You guys know more about Jacksonville than I do.
Bro, that's
I
the
surely
South.
don't. NT.
Anyway, Henry Hart is a gay man living in New York City. He's a very successful artist, and he gets a call from his family friend Grace, who is a lovely character, and tells him that his grandfather Sam has suffered a stroke, and he's from a small town, so he's got to leave his NYC life to go hop on. I almost said a train. That's not it. A plane to Big Eden, Montana, which is a town in Montana.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. Get all 4 films.
Dude!
For
Oh,
4
we fucked.
installments of $20.99.
Dude. You know, I think we're gonna let you do the summary for
Hey.
all of this. I think you got this.
You got this. You go, girl.
Right next to Green Hills, Montana, where Sonic lives.
In
Over
canon.
yonder. We went from Sonic to Big Eden.
So he comes in. Of course, it's very small towny. Everyone is very quaint. And as he's taking care of his grandpa Sam, which he calls Sampa, which is adorable.
That is kind of cute.
It is cute.
As he's taking care of Sampa, he is notified by Grace that his former high school crush, Dean Stewart, has moved back into town, which is drama because he's newly divorced, ready to mingle, and he is in town. He just returned to Big Eden with his kids. So Henry's got lots of unresolved gay feelings for Dean. And Dean is the touchiest man on earth.
I don't like Dean. Let's start with that.
Also, before we get into that, did you mention that like it's very like there's no homophobia anywhere, and everyone's just like okay with everything?
I did write that, and then proceeded to forget about it because I was talking about
No,
Montana.
you decided to mention Montana twice.
Montana.
Big Eden, Montana, which is in Montana. Anyone?
Yeah.
Can anyone tell me where Big Eden is located by the end of this episode?
It's Montana.
But yeah, this town seems awesome. I would like to live
entire
there.
universe, this parallel universe, is entirely set in a homophobia-free zone.
They're like,
Nobody gives a shit.
you
No one
like
gives
you
a
like
shit.
him?
Not everyone knows. You wrote this in the summary, but the Widow Thayer is still playing straight matchmaker, and so.
But she said, I knew, but other people said, no, but I knew. So everyone fucking knows. They just don't give a single shit. They just want him to be happy.
No, they're like, you like him? Let us help you push yourselves together to get together. Like, don't even trip. Happiness is happiness here. I guess that's why they call it Big Eden, because Eden is supposed to be a perfect paradise. Kettle
that has the
losing their
opposite
little
energy
minds.
of ruff, 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 ruff.
And no, I would say it has a similar energy.
Similar but different.
I don't know if I want to talk about Dean now or later. I am in the Dean Stewart defense squad.
Me too.
Yes, I love Dean for various
I don't know
reasons.
about
We'll get
love.
into that.
Love, no. You know, it's like that, shit.
Perfect. 2 versus 2.
It's like that thing. I will not agree with what you say, but I will fight to the death for your right to say it sort of situation.
Let me make my case later. Anyway, so Dean's in town, and Henry's like, oh my god. Meanwhile, Grace, town meddler, is not Widow Thayer, who is also another town meddler. She has set up a support for Henry and Sam because Henry, like a good little gayman, cannot cook. So, except for this
I
gayman.
got a prime
I don't like
example
that.
right
I don't
here
like that.
that a
I
man
don't like that. I don't
can't
like that
cook.
stereotype. You can't drive, sure, but you can't cook.
I'm cool with that stereotype. But God forbid the can't cook stereotype. He can't cook and Sam needs food, like very specific food because he just had a stroke. So Grace sets up the Widow Thayer, who's the town gossip, to make food for Sam. And the person who's going to be the middleman between the food and delivering it to the DoorDash, if you will. The DoorDash is a Mr. Pike Dexter, who is a very, 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 very socially anxious and shy boy. He's a Native American general store owner, and he is my son.
He is so terribly
Dexter
shy.
Dash. Our
So
Dexter Dasher.
Dexter Dash.
terribly shy. It really like I was like, he's just so shy. I was so shocked at like how people really have to speak for him or be like, all right. You know, he was forceful in his own way, but he was just so terribly, terribly shy. The pain you could see on his face.
The pain. He just hates to be talking to people.
He's one of my favorite characters because I was like, me too.
He's the epitome of oh gosh, oh geez, oh gosh, oh geez.
Truly. And he's shy to begin with on like a base level, but it also becomes very obvious that he's fixated with Henry. They used to go to they all went to high school together. So he's socially anxious, and on top of that, it's very obvious he has a crush on Henry, and that is
He's like paralyzed.
Y'all
paralyzed with fear.
Paralyzed with fear. Paralyzed like that Finger 11 song from high school.
Lol. Love that song.
I also don't know how to talk in front of a crush.
You get crushes.
Of course I get crushes. You'll never know. That's a secret I'll never tell.
I think I know.
Of course you know. I tell
It's
you
on me,
everything.
huh?
Me and Tony were like,
No. Nar.
He's terribly shy.
Anyway, so Pike takes the food over to the house daily, and after a couple tries, Pike realizes that the food is booty,
It's
and
shit.
so it's
it
bullshit.
looks so nasty.
It
That
looks
casserole-
so
And
bland.
wasn't she cooking stuff that
He wasn't
Sam
allowed to
couldn't
have.
eat?
Or like she had to like butcher her own like dishes in order for him to try to be able to eat it. She's like, "Oh, I just didn't add any salt." And I'm
But
like,
she still fried things and stuff. Like, she was giving him biscuits and stuff, and like pies, and like Henry's like, "Do you want? How many strokes did you want to have? You can't be eating this." And
Pike's like, "Oh God,
observing.
I gotta intervene here."
This is such a
I gotta
bad
get in on
time
this.
to be talking about what kind of food she was given, because I'm like, I would totally kill for a biscuit or a pie right now.
Nobody's saying they wouldn't eat the biscuit or pie. They just know, we all know that Widow Thayer be giving Sampaw the bad shit, and he can't be having that.
It's not even
bad
like the good
shits.
bad shit though, because there's no salt.
That's why it's even worse bad. It's bad worse.
It's
Worse
worse than
bad.
bad.
Sar, on that note, Pike decides, I'm going to learn how to cook, and I'm going to make some good-ass food for my boo thing.
And let me shout out my fucking like people who know anything about like cooking history, but he picks up The Joy of Cooking
Yes,
by
yes,
Irma Rombauer. I think her name's that.
I don't know. I was gonna go Ratatouille like anyone can cook.
It's The Joy of Cooking, which is a
The
super
Joy of Cooking
popular
by
book.
Ratatouille.
Yeah. Do you have a copy?
No, I don't. I actually don't own any older like cookbooks, mostly because like I don't know, a lot of things have changed since then, and like
Yeah.
techniques have kind of been different. But like,
Would you like to own
I
it?
want to say,
This movie,
I think just for shits and giggles, sure.
okay, let me just say this movie, I was not emotional on when we watched it because I was very sick. But the last 2 times I watched it, I've been very emotional because a couple parts remind me of my great-grandparents. And if you know, you know. It's been really rough the past couple weeks. But the joy of cooking my great-grandma always had. And
Aw.
I think she gave me a copy of it, but I don't know where it's at.
Is it in the garage?
No,
No.
because I looked through those boxes.
Wow.
It might be at my mom's somewhere, I think.
Lovely.
The importance of that is she was a really good friend with Julia Child.
Yes,
And
that's
Mastering
why
the Art of French Cooking is like a collaboration between Madame Child and I think her name is Irma Rombauer. I might be fucking up her last name so bad right now, but also I'm a little
I
zooted.
love cooking history. That's
Yeah.
why I immediately thought Julia Child because of that.
It's a really big, and it's honestly just so small. Like honestly, I don't even know if like they knew what they were doing when they chose that book.
Did you ever see
No,
the
I would say
TikTok
that's-
guy?
When I think of cooking, I think of joy of cooking.
Which TikTok guy?
The TikTok guy who makes old recipes.
Vintage like World War II depression.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm on the Instagram. I've seen the potato like pie or potato cake or whatever it was.
The avocado cake. Sounds
Avocado.
disgusting. But he ate it and he was like, this shit is fucking delicious.
There was a potato cake. It was crazy. I think it was potato.
There was a potato cake. It was crazy.
Sorry to
that
go
shit
off
was
track.
crazy.
Not the joy of cooking.
But yeah, so I liked that too. When I first watched it, I was like,
That's so sweet. And it's also really sweet for learning how to cook for your mans.
yes, love that.
For the boo thing.
For the boo thing.
Boo thing.
The boo thing. So he does this, but he's gonna keep this a little got a secret. Can you keep
Can
it?
you keep it?
Got a secret? Can you keep it?
Here comes Sky, even more cockney than the both of us.
You guys got to put stank on it.
No one's more British than Sky. And that's on period.
Period.
Period. So he's keeping it a secret, and so he's not telling nobody about this. He's just exchanging the food secretly. And this goes on.
He's eating the garbage. He's eating the garbage and giving the good stuff to Sampa and Henry.
That's called sacrifice.
That's called love.
It's called love.
Would you take that bullet for your booth?
How nasty we talking?
Yeah, I was like, no.
Nar?
Nah, we're both eating. We're going down together.
We both eating bad.
We either both eating good or we both eating bad.
It's 100,
I love
baby.
that.
I'm ride or die. And if it's die, it's die. I don't care.
Wow. Anyway, this goes on for a while, and Pike does this even though he sees how in love Henry is with Dean. So, pining all around. And at some point, Pike's cooking lets him get really close to Sampa, even though being around Henry makes him sweaty spaghetti. And him and Sampa form a really nice relationship. So much so that eventually he's hanging out with Sampa on a night that Henry and Dean were hanging out, and he sees Henry and Dean almost kiss, and it's a sad scene.
Isn't it the 4th of July?
Like the 4th of July.
It's the 4th of July!
4th of July.
Yeah, okay, no. I wanted to mention at this point, like Henry had been in town for more than he missed his gallery opening to go and see Sampa. And then he ended up being there, and it goes beyond just his 4th of July. Like, he stays there until fucking Christmas and shit almost, right? He
stays through the fall.
He stays there until the winter. And it's a little wild that, if you're a New York artist, I guess good for you, because you can just leave your apartment and keep paying for it and shit and go back to your hometown and be like, I'm all right. But anyway, I don't like that. I don't like that they were trying to, is this the part where we talk about Dean?
No!
Yeah. Why not?
Fine.
Let's talk about Dean. I want to talk about Dean.
I'll just say that I just didn't like Dean at this point because I just feel like he was giving a lot of mixed signals. It's not the fact that he was, being comfortable or uncomfortable with his sexuality or anything. I just didn't like... I feel like he knew that Henry was still into him, and he was, toying around with him, and I just don't think that's fair, toying around with somebody's feelings. But I know that he had genuine love for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
I don't think that was ever in question. It just bothered me that I don't feel like he was able to be true to himself. So I'm like, don't be doing that stuff.
Hey, this is Ketzel. Fancy seeing you here. You look great. At this moment during recording, the pizza got there, and we had a little pizza break where things got kind of weird. The audio didn't pick up well on the mics, but visually, head over to our YouTube page and see what we got up to during this little break from hell. It's really something. You gotta check the shit out. Go to flock to YouTube, please. Go. We're gonna skip past it in this episode, but see you on over there. Bye.
I don't even know where we're at. We were talking about
Dean motherfucking Stewart is where we're at.
We're at Dean Stewart and Q's big reveal.
Dolly had things to say. She had some things to say. And I got some things to say
No.
back.
Let's hear what you have to say. I mean,
Okay. I think my boy Dean is a very confused bisexual. I think he's bi, and there was no words for it, so they try to they kept trying to sell him as straight to us. Some point Henry's friends oh, he's straight, blah blah blah, and they're all but I don't think he's straight at all. I mean, his little romance with the mayor is fine and all, and I think that's true, but I don't think he's straight at all. I don't think he means to lead Henry on. I just truly think he's fucking confused, because he obviously loves him as a family, but also later on in the movie when he sees Pike and Henry getting really close and he goes sobbing in his car, I feel that, to me, that scene shows me how much he actually, part of him, is attracted to Henry and does love him. So I think that mixed signals is both him being well, he's family, and I'm sad he doesn't treat me like family, and that goes into this other scene where he snaps at him. But this other part of me is attracted to him, and I don't think he means to. And I think that's why I like Dean. I'm like, I don't know. It's like complicated. He's like a very complicated character to me. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's bi. As a bisexual, mama, that's a bi.
God gives his toughest battles to his hardest
Gives-
girlies.
Strongest girlies.
He gives his toughest battles to his strongest girlies. But yeah, no, sometimes being bi is hard, especially like when you when I didn't have a label on it quite yet. It's very confusing. It's very confusing because sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying this is Dean, but like for me, like sometimes when I was really attracted to like a woman, I was like, I don't know if I want to be you or if I want to be with you. Like, it's very confusing.
Mm-hmm. And especially like close
Bisexuals-
relationships. You know?
Yes,
And that
bisexuals
too.
tend to stumble a lot through relationships in life. But this is why, like, and this is where I'll chime in about my piece, is like, bisexuals stumble a lot. There's a lot of figuring out to do. There's a lot
We don't
of
know how to walk.
uncharted territory.
We don't know how to think.
You can't read, let alone walk.
Oh, whoa, whoa, speak for other people.
No, that one. Specifically that
Oh
one.
no, Ketzel can't read.
It's a beautiful place to be, honestly. But like at the same time, you know, I feel like he was just kind of tossing himself into what was, right? Like, and we, or at least I, have a tendency to like over romanticize things. Like, it's kind of crazy to like, you know, live my life after having, you know, been part of this beautiful relationship with Henry, coming back into my hometown where I'm most comfortable, where I can feel like I'm truly being myself because, you know, the life I've lived so far didn't pan out the way it was supposed to. I got my kids, and it's like, this is my chance to rekindle that love, which is fair, and I think that is warranted. I don't think there was ever a question at all that he didn't love Henry. I think that Dean always loved Henry, and that was just always a fact. I just don't think that he really understood his own feelings and just kind of like let it a little too willy-nilly, to a point where like, obviously Henry is a very like gay man. Like, you can be bisexual and gay and be together. That's totally fine. But like, Dean still had a lot of figuring out to do. And I think that he maybe jumped into this a little too soon before he really knew where he was at mentally. You know, you need to figure some stuff out just a little bit more. Like, I don't have a problem with you, like, you know, liking somebody else, like finding comfort in someone else. It's just, you know, figure that out first. And then we can be on good terms. And they ended up being friends in the end. I thought that was great. But, you know, there's a thing about like, you know, realizing your feelings that if you don't know, it's just best to like back off for a bit, you know, and not just dive in head first every time. But here we are learning lessons, making mistakes, and it all turned out right in the end. It soured that a little bit for me.
But I think like also it's like new territory, you know? Like, he's like, oh, I do maybe have feelings. So why not jump in head first? Like, I don't think you really think about the consequences when you have feelings like that. At least I'm speaking from experience.
No, fall in love as many times as you can, because like, love is not always guaranteed.
Love is hard.
Love is a battlefield. I think it's also the fact that he's like, they're like fucking middle aged, and you're right, Henry had all this time to figure himself out. My reading of this is they never consummated this ever in their teenage years. Ever. Like, so like that all was unresolved up until fairly recently. Right? So I think that being middle aged, repressed, again, for telling no homophobia, he still went into like traditional roles, right? I don't know. The fact that I can have this much discourse about Mr. Dean Stewart is, I think, really cool for this year, this film. And I think that if this movie was made like in now times, Dean would have, at the end, instead of finding another mom for his kids.
He would have been crucified, I think, too, if people took it negatively.
I think at the end, well, again, because they're middle-aged. They've lived their whole life, like, not really acting on their feelings except for Henry, like he did. I think that if it was now, he wouldn't have just found another mom for his kids in the end with the mayor. I think that it should have, like, it would have been more acceptable to end with, you know what? I am going to take a step back and start experimenting with my bisexuality. But alas, I just want more for Dean.
It was a happy story with happy endings. I don't disagree.
Antonio, do you have anything to say about this? Because you're the only one that hasn't really
Hasn't
talked.
said anything about Dean. I'm just like, la-di-da-di-da, bisexual. Live your truth, buddy. That's it.
I agree.
That's it.
Cute.
Let your freak flag fly, baby.
You know, live your truth. Even if you're 45. Or whatever age he is.
45.
Valid.
I feel like you aged them up.
I don't know what age they were.
No, I don't know either. Yeah, I agree. I think
Okay, so he has kids, so he's probably like, what, 40?
Yeah. I
Just
also
about.
think in the now times they would have called him bi. And in the 2000 they didn't do it. So they kept coding
No,
him
they
as
didn't.
that. Yeah. That's why I'm like, I
No, they
fucking
didn't.
zeroed
And I think
in
it's
on him.
like, and that's super fair, but it's like the year 2000. And, like, bisexuality is still like this, like,
It wasn't invented
middle
yet.
ground. It wasn't, no one discovered bisexuality in the year
Katy
2000.
Perry actually was the one who discovered it.
Thank you for
right.
your service.
I fucking
but no, yeah.
hate her for that song.
Really? Why?
I feel like when Katy Perry came out with "I Kissed a Girl," it became like a very, it just furthered the sexualization of girls kissing girls, and it being for the male gaze.
Mama, it's always been like that.
I know.
It's always been like that. You can't blame Mom.
I don't
And
feel like
here's
it
the thing.
furthered it. It
She
furthered
just made
it.
some money. She just made,
made
the
money.
money.
She
She got the
money for it.
bag.
Girly, she was just
Made
trying to
your
get her
bag a lot.
coin.
Everyone accepts that bisexual women exist, but like
And I would-
bisexual men,
I
not
would
even
enough- I would
allies.
I agree. I absolutely agree
Like,
with that.
You're valid. I love you.
Yeah,
It's
all
not your
all
fault.
buys.
All
I love you.
Bi Nation rise
Bi
up.
Nation rise up. Ah! Bi Nation rise the fuck up.
God, I love being gay.
Yes.
That took
Wow.
quite a turn. I don't even know where we are in the summary.
We were just talking about Dean.
We were
dude.
talking about Dean. We were talking.
No, I know, but that conversation about Dean took a turn, and then another.
Oh, I got
turn.
you. So the reason we started talking
We're
about
talking about,
Dean
like,
is because Henry and Dean
Thanksgiving.
almost kissed before Thanksgiving.
They
Oh,
all
We're like,
it was
wait,
the 4th of July.
was he leading him on? And
It
then
was
this
the
what
4th
came
of
to this whole
July.
thing. Anyway,
call out,
I'll take
boy.
us back. I promise. I remembered the train of thought.
Also, Fall Out Boy Nation rise up. Thank you, Antonio.
Also, real quick,
Thank you and good night.
I was like
That was the best album ever.
Okay. Henry and Dean almost kiss, but they don't. So that's that on that.
They hug. They hug
They hug.
intensely.
And
They
it
hug
was
intensely.
painful.
He goes in for the passionate hug.
I didn't like that. It
The
was
hurg.
painful for me.
The hurg.
The hug.
I was like, where is my boner supposed to go with this? You know what I mean?
Wait. Are hugs boner killers?
When I was
I'm
expecting a
expecting a
kiss,
kiss.
yeah.
And I get a hug?
I'm like, yo, what the fuck, dude? What am I supposed to do with this?
Am
My
I a
lip
joke to
noodle.
you?
Why am I the only one popping my pussy in the fucking club right now?
Why am I
Really?
the only one popping my pussy in the club right now?
Truly. Anyway,
Huh.
eventually the Widow Thayer figures out that Pike's the one making the food, and this is when the whole town gets involved in Pike cooking. Like, he's got his little gang of dudes that hang out in the convenience store. Now he's got the Widow Thayer helping him cook. It's all shenanigans of hiding this little secret from everyone. Eventually, Pike's little gang confronts him about it. They're like, "Bro, what the fuck have you been doing, girl?" And he just says that he wants things to be nice for Henry because he loves him. He doesn't say that because he loves him. He just says that he wants things to be nice.
Can
Hey,
I
read between the lines.
can I chime in here really
Yeah.
quick about the little gang? Because they're amazing and I love them. Lloyd,
love them too.
my guy Lloyd.
I
Love
love
him.
those men because they support Pike so much, and they fucking are so like they're doing non-traditionally masculine things. Like, they're helping him sew. They're like fucking helping him cook. And I just think, and they're just like really gruff, like Western dudes, and I fucking love it.
And they love tea. Oh my god, they love the
They
gossip
love the
and the
tea.
tea.
Give me the cheese, man.
They're fucking
them.
chismosos, all of them. So Thanksgiving dinner's coming up, but before that, Zampa gets sick again. And he's all right. He just goes to the hospital for a bit, and during this, Henry's obviously very upset, and he makes his move on Dean, and the results are mixed. They do kiss. But Dean's like, I can't. I can't do it.
I can't.
He's like, I can't do this. But later at Thanksgiving, Dean's like, I want to try one more again.
One more.
one more again. And obviously Henry's very upset by this. He's like, how could you basically like, don't toy with me like that, right? Like, I've been building you up for all these years. And Dean's just like, you won't let me, like, I also just want to love you as a family member, but you won't let me because you think of me romantically. It's like this whole thing, very complicated. They both make valid points, but in the end, Henry's getting fucked around a bit.
It's best if they just don't stay together.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's
I
safer,
know.
better. It
I
hurts.
wish I knew how to quit you.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish I remembered that quote I kept fucking saying during Brokeback Mountain, but I can't.
I don't want to tell you.
remember.
I edited it, so I do remember it vaguely, and I don't want to trigger that in your brain, so I'm going to move on now.
I know it was like a what was it, coyote and something.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
No.
remember. Tony, do you remember?
I do.
Something about a rabbit running around like
Oh.
with a coyote on its boot or something like that.
It's a coyote
I
and a
don't-
boot. That's not
I
it.
don't remember.
That's not it. Okay.
Damn. Otherwise, I'd keep saying that every time you say that.
Every resident of fucking Big Eden is this one lodge. They didn't have their own families to go hang out with or anything on Thanksgiving. They all hang out and watch fucking Henry, Sam.
That is
Pike.
their family.
That is their family,
Is their
but if
family.
this was a small town where where everything's just fucking chill, and you have these 3 fucking queers making all this drama, I'd fucking want to be there, ready to fucking get the tea.
Let me get out my opera glasses.
But when they fight, Pike hears all of this, and it's awkward. Anyway, Henry and Dean are fighting, but later on, Pike and Henry got to have a little moment. They have a nice meal together. They have a little story time, which is the most we've ever heard Pike speak in a single moment. And there's
That's the most he
connections, and
speaks in
sparks
the entire
fly.
movie.
Right? And like, is this at the point where they talk about the Pleiades?
It sure is.
Oh my god,
Pleiades.
remember when I was like watching the movie and I was just like, that looks like the fucking Pleiades, and then y'all were like, she doesn't know. And then y'all were like, I don't know. I don't know what
Could
that
be.
is about. And then they're like, oh, it's a it's a painting of the Pleiades, the 7 sisters. And then Pike goes on this beautiful like story, Native American story about the Pleiades constellation, and it was lovely. It was very interesting.
I
But-
tuned out.
And then I just thought it was funny that you guys were like, this fucking bitch. Because, like, my other side gig is a galactic hunter, of which I look at space, and I was just like, that looks like the fucking Pleiades.
Do you want me to pull out? I have my print.
Oh, yeah, y'all both have
Pull
the
it.
prints.
Yes, so we bought this beautiful print.
Post it too.
Yes, absolutely, and link it and all that, all that. Anyway, we bought this beautiful print, and when I was looking at what y'all were offering, and I saw the Pleiades, and I was like, Big Eden merch, Big Eden merch, Big Eden merch, and I bought that shit so quickly.
Oh,
This whole thing.
Ah, that was nice. I also
Space gaze.
loved. Yes, I also loved Pike's very flashy red shirt. I was like, you're speaking so much right now without saying nothing.
My thing about that red shirt, it's so lovely. He truly went, he's like, I'm going to change real quick, into the most obvious outfit change I could have possibly done. So it's very obvious I dressed up for this dinner. And I love that about him.
cares.
I
It's
love
like
that.
saying I like you without having to try
It's a wink.
to say it.
He tried so hard.
It got so far.
Anyway, so there's connections. But eventually Henry, now that Sampa's getting better, Henry starts to try moving away, and he's giving his Pallades painting to Pike. And Pike's overjoyed that he's getting it, but then realizes that it's a going away gift. And that's upsetty. And then Dean sees this, and he's upsetty. Which is the scene we were referencing earlier. But right as Sam's making his move to head back to New York, he arrives home and finds Pike there, because Sampa has unfortunately passed away. And so the whole town goes into mourning because of this, and Dean is there to comfort Henry, and Pike does the opposite and just secludes himself. He doesn't even go to the funeral because it's very upsetting for him, which makes Henry really mad and furthers the fact that he says he needs to leave.
Yeah.
So sad. Because I love Sampa. Fucking
rough.
Sampa's it.
Yeah, dude, fucking Sampa was also whittling all these little houses of everybody's houses, and they were like basically like partying gifts. So everybody that went to the funeral got like their house whittled in a little block, and it was like really, really cute and sad. And of course, Pike got one too, but he wasn't there to pick it up. So Henry went to go take it over, and he tried to chat with him, but
one more time.
He was just so overcome with grief, and he's like, I just can't bring myself even to say goodbye to maybe the love of his life.
So they don't talk to each other because communication, what is that? Until the day Henry's leaving for New York, and at the last minute, thanks to Jim, cool as a cucumber, Jim Soames, my man, helps Pike realize that he's got to get his ass to Henry and stop him because Pike loves him. And Pike realizes this. And it's not a rom-com without an airport scene. So he runs to the airport. And he tries to stop the plane, but of course, he cannot. And
baby, that bitch was departing.
Baby, come back.
Deported.
And also, like, airport scene in the 2000s or whatever that you can get through without getting really, like, hardcore checked. That he made it all the way to the fucking gate
without getting fucking tased, let alone shot or something like that.
The times have changed, but
man, we've gone through so many changes in airports throughout this podcast. You know, people used to just fucking smoke in them bitches.
People used to. Die Hard taught me that you could smoke in them
also
bitches.
Die Hard.
Dude, I take a 4-ounce bottle of anything. They want to tackle me to the ground.
Truly.
Let alone do any of that shit.
Bruh, anything with a battery. Just like,
and everyone's losing their minds.
Lithium? Y'all got lithium batteries? Get out of here.
Get out of here. Pull it out. It needs its own bin. I don't care.
Dude, I took some quarters and they were like, what is that? And I'm like, my roll of quarters. I need laundry.
Have you ever been patted down?
My brother has a lot. I haven't. Not intimately.
I got flagged because I left my Switch in my backpack because I didn't think it required another bin, and then they pulled it out, and they pulled out in front of my fucking face, and they're like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "My Switch," and he's like, "The airport guy was like, oh, you play? What games do you play?" And I was like, "Can I just move on?"
So, but you've never been like patted down?
No, I've been like patted, but like lightly. Not like taken to another fucking room type of shit.
My Switch got patted down.
No, but like patted down.
Yeah.
I got patted down.
Have
you? Yeah.
This is all a ploy to be like,
I was patted down once.
I was patted down once. Like SpongeBob.
I remember my first pat down.
I got really confused. I was like, what's going on? Because like my grandma got through just fine. There was like no problems. And this one comes in with like 3-4 bags. One of them is like a medical bag. So like they take a few moments with her or whatnot. But they don't like, you know, do the whole thing where they like double check everything. I don't know what the fuck happened. But apparently I set something off or another. Density wise.
Was it your
Density?
ass?
Nope. It's the other side. I got
you packing hit? You packing heat?
Pull down those pants. Let's see.
I don't know. But it was like, I was like, what's going on?
You heard it.
It was
here,
like the
folks.
most like light brush. I was like,
Hey, Antonio, how big's your dick?
This is
how
how you
big is it,
insert
though?
a big bleep. Just insert a big bleep.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that, but answer the question.
No.
Just say it's
Answer the question.
inches.
Answer the question.
It's me.
Is it?
For instance, if I had a dick, I would tell you how big it is.
How big
Dude,
is it?
I
can
bet
you
you
just?
would.
I
I
will
bet you
edit
would.
this out. How big is it?
Please, we're begging.
I thought I have told you. I could have sworn I told you
I think
guys.
you've told me, but
You
you told me when
didn't.
we were. You told me when we were like fucking 15, dude. Things change.
No, it was not when we were 15. It was while we were like,
While you were high.
no, it was while we were at the apartment.
Oh.
Apartment.
Yeah.
So how big was it?
How big are we talking
I'm
here?
not saying.
how big we talking though?
We're gonna edit it out. Just tell us.
I don't care.
Just tell us.
No.
Can you whisper it to Dahlia, and Dahlia you just live react?
The guts are like, we'll take anything.
We'll take anything.
Whisper it to Gilligan. She's nonverbal.
Watch her learn to speak.
I don't want to know.
Nope.
I'm actually the friend that doesn't want to know, doesn't care to know.
Why?
Perfect keeper of a
Because you're
secret.
because she's a
Privacy.
good friend, and you guys are fucking menaces.
One day I'll remember.
Anyway,
Hey, good for you for standing your ground.
I've never
the
not.
fuck up. Shut
I've
the
never
hell.
not.
So
Shut
shut
the hell. Sit
It's
the
not happening.
So tell me,
the
how
hell
big
up,
is
bitch.
it?
Good for you.
I fully agree, Scott. If I had a dick, I'd be so insufferable about it. Which is why I don't have one.
Hey, be careful there, because then you're opening that can of worms of like, I would tell everybody how big my dick is, and then that kind
And
of
then
is, like,
you'd understand
then you'd be
why
like
guys
nudes.
send dick pics.
Yeah, exactly. Like you.
Wait,
be
what is
careful.
the drawback?
Unsolicited dick
What's
pics
the
are
problem?
not okay. If I didn't ask to see your pee, I don't want to fucking see it. Only if I ask for it.
Who said anything about seeing? Oh, my dick? No, their dick. I'm not showing you my dick. I might.
You're so fucking stupid. You're literally saying you'd be insufferable if you had a dick. You're insufferable without one.
Can
too.
you imagine? This is why the god said, nay, that'd be too much power.
I'd stick it in everything.
Hmm?
I'd stick it in everything. Not like people. Like obviously not. Obviously
fair.
not. I mean, you guys know
Donuts.
I would never do that. But like
Vacuums.
but, like
In a cup.
donuts,
It's like,
Fruit.
oh, it doesn't really fill in a lot of stuff.
A pie.
anything I could stick it in, I would stick it in.
Interesting.
A pie.
Any food. Oink.
Wink.
I've never seen American Pie, but I do know that happens. I'd stick it in a peach.
I don't know how we got on this conversation, but airports. Let's go. Let's wrap this up. So he goes to the airport. They said no, it's departed. Oh, the pat downs. That's how we got on this. Anyway, on his on his way back home, Pike sees that Sam's truck is in front of the store, and so he goes in, and Henry's there. Was not expecting that. And Henry has decided not to go to New York. And the two men become a happy couple. Dean hooks up with the mayor. Henry stays. It's a gay old time. The end. And then Pike and Henry kiss, and I cry.
They do, and they kiss for a very, very long time.
Yeah, they do. Thoughts? So, loser. How'd you like it?
I did like the movie. It frustrated me at times, but I liked it a lot. Very quirky and lovable. A very wholesome story.
Speaking of wholesome stories, what a great segue as to how I think about this movie. And I finally pegged it. This is a Hallmark movie on Logo TV.
Yes.
Bitch.
That's why I will live without it. It's a Hallmark movie on Logo TV.
It is.
Story without the Christmas.
It's a troped rom-com, but gays. And to have it in 2000, astounding.
Astounding
Yeah.
for sure.
And maybe that's why I'm a hater, is that I just don't really super care for Hallmark movies anymore.
Anymore. So at one point you did.
I was
Cinderella
young.
story.
I was poor. We didn't really have much else.
Happiness came through the television.
I'm loving all those Christmas holiday flicks about the gays. Loving those. 'Cause
You know,
it-
no,
to me,
exactly.
that's
Like,
why.
what is it? Single
same
all the
thing.
way?
Yeah.
Yes. Damn, that movie.
That's just because you hate Joy. That's because you hate Joy. We've been knew that.
I just like production value.
Here's
Very
the thing, though, and I wrote this down and put a little star next to it. That's not the reason you gave me for why you didn't like it, though. And so I'm gonna tell Dahlia what you told me. The reason Antonio said he did not like this film is because he thought that the men were not attractive enough.
Oh, that sounds about right too.
They were not, but that's not the point.
That's not the point, Mom. I love
I
that
don't
they're
know.
unconventionally there.
Yeah, I
Also-
was very surprised that Henry was not that cute. I was like,
He's generic.
but also let's remember.
I mean, sure, whatever. Live your life. You know, it's a
Live your
your truth.
unconventional life.
Look. Let's remember.
Live your ugly life. Live your ugly life, girly.
This is a pretty authentic movie where there's not always gonna be a hot fucking gay,
Yes.
I suppose that's true.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
and that was also
And
a
that's
queer Native
fine.
American man.
queer
Yeah.
Native American man who I think is handsome.
So like, yeah, maybe they weren't like attractive in the sense that we see now in the 2020s, but like.
This was
it was
also a
cute.
long way to go to hot cast. So that kind of got answered.
Right?
Solid cast though.
Solid
yeah.
cast, not
Sure.
hot.
Sure.
I make an argument for Pike, but okay.
I think Tim DeKay's
Tim DeKay was
Not
very
ugly.
handsome.
he's handsome.
Tim
Taking
DeKay
his
is
shirt
a
off a
handsome
couple
man.
times.
You
Yeah.
stop that right now.
Gay baiting all the way.
Yeah.
Soundtrack.
Now the soundtrack, the music. Doll, you did
10
make a
out of
comment on it.
10. Absolutely great. I loved it. Also, I like listening to that type of music probably on a weekly basis, so I like it. I don't think I've ever heard those songs before, but I liked it a lot.
Beautiful. Costume design, set location.
Love the set location.
Beautiful.
Very
location.
Montana. I don't know. I've never been
This
to
does
Montana.
take place in Montana.
As Ketzel stated twice.
You know, by the end of this episode, everyone should be able to tell me where the fuck Big Eden is.
I swear to fucking God, if they do me a Brokeback Mountain and this actually was not filmed in Montana, I'm gonna fucking lose my goddamn shit.
Are you looking it up right now?
Oh, yes, I am.
I will say I
it
like
in
the
Canada as
costuming.
well?
Let me tell you, this movie, authentic, was shot in Montana. So suck it,
Great.
Brokeback.
But like the costuming really good. I feel like very of that area, like of a small town in
Of that
the
area,
Mountain
of that
West.
era.
Good costuming, not everybody's gonna be fabulous and amazing. The whole thing about being fabulous and amazing was in New York City, where Henry had just come from, but he don't
Which
care about
he did
that.
not dress like he was in New York City while he was in New York City.
He does not care about that, and I found that charming. I like their winter gear though. Lloyd, like this little outfit.
My man Lloyd. With
This
the
is for you.
cowboy hats.
With the glasses and the
You
pipe.
motherfucking the pipe.
Mama.
Mind you, none of us smoke like that, but we're like, haha, the pipe. It's called the drip, kids.
It's called panache. The artistry, the dramatics, the theatrics of it all. Quotes?
love.
Okay, I'll go first. I think we didn't really talk about it, but it's when Henry's talking to Sam, and part always makes me cry
Yep.
when I'm not sick. But everything he says there is just it's so wonderful and so accepting, and just reminded me of my grandpa. So I don't remember everything he says, but like it's just that whole. Was it a monologue? I don't know if it was really a
Yeah.
monologue, but that whole speech he gives Henry is really, really nice.
Yeah, that's part of my... I have two quotes, and that's one of them because Samba also reminds me of my grandmother and the way she would speak to me. And he tells Henry, he's like, did me and your grandmother teach you shame? Because it would like make me so sad if we did. And he says, can't you see what a good job God did here? Can't you see how beautiful he made you? That fucking gets me. And then my fun quote is, when Pike says, "I'm just cooking food here," and Jim says, "If only that were true," and that is true. And Jim fucking snatches his wig so thoroughly.
Let me interject here. Would you like me to say the rest of my pieces of the questions we have left, and then you let us know why this is something that touched you so, and how it did, and when it did?
That scene?
I was listening to Hairspray earlier, and Antonio's like, "Why is it that you loved Hairspray so much? Why is it that you love Big Eating so much? Do you want me to say my piece because it's not something you want to hear? Maybe."
Probably not. Why do I love Big Eden? You know, I don't know. I don't think I know why I love Big Eden so much. It gripped me in a way that I cannot explain. It just...
Do you like Hallmark movies?
Well, it's funny because, like, I avoid rom-coms. I love rom-coms, and I love those kind of films because they give me such an unrealistic expectation of love and life. Because I don't know. It's like, I'm never going to see myself in those movies, you know? And I always knew that. I think I watched Big Eden before this slew of, like, holiday game movies, which have been very enjoyable and I fucking love. So, like, something about this touches on that nostalgic part of a kid who just wanted a little cheesy rom-com film, but actually it's like, I don't know, it's so gay and, like, it's just so joyful. I just love it because it's so fucking joyful. It's such a genuine fucking movie. It makes me happy. It's like, I don't know. It's a comfort movie. Like, I was having such a shitty month and Sky bought me the DVD because that's what this movie is for me. Like, if I'm having a shitty time, I watch Big Eden and it just, why am I tearing up in the club right now?
Dude.
But I'm having a shitty time. This movie is such a hug for me. And I'm going to cut the shit out.
No, you're not.
No, you ain't. You gotta keep that part. You gotta let them see you cry.
That's why I love it. It's a stupid little movie that's just really joyful.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Not my president, but thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so tear it to shreds.
I don't want to tear it to shreds. The thing is,
tore it to shreds. I told you exactly what I thought about it.
I don't mean to tear it to shreds. Honestly, like, unless you forced me to watch the movie, which we did, but I don't regret watching it at all. Like, I think this is a movie you could go probably your whole life without watching, but I'm sure fucking glad I did. And that's the only negative thing I really have to say about it besides Dean. But it has such rewatchability. It feels so good. It does feel like a hug. And, like, I had a dream last night where I described it the same way as I was talking about it to somebody today. And, like, I like that feeling. And it's good. I'm glad. And I'm glad that you shared your most beloved movie with me, because now I get to enjoy it, and I will probably watch it again because it's rewatchable and lovely, and I'll probably notice things I didn't notice before, but, like, it's great. I'm glad. Like, although I did say what I said, I don't regret watching this movie, and I would recommend it to somebody else, although you probably could go your whole life without watching it.
I'm glad you have this movie for yourself.
And I do feel like...
Not for you.
Because Antonio brought this up in a previous episode, like, do you feel like you missed out? I think it was Charlie's Angels, actually. Like, do you feel like you missed out on watching this? I do feel like I may have missed out. I don't think I've seen enough queer cinema, and I feel like if I'd seen this, you know, maybe not in 2000, but at least, you know, when I was starting to figure myself out, it probably could have helped. You know, this is definitely an extra credit on the syllabus that is worth the watch. Something that if you're having a hard weekend, you should give it a watch and make you feel good about who you are on the inside.
I think you mentioned this, and you could probably go more in depth on this. It's a good, like, contrast to Brokeback Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, like, country gays.
Absolutely.
You know?
It
doesn't have to be sad.
It doesn't have to be sad. And I've been thinking a lot about this after Brokeback Mountain because I've been editing it. One, I have two separate thoughts. One, this is such a movie along with a bunch of other movies that there's other like really not sad queer cinema. I mean, fucking like The Birdcage came out like in fucking, what is it, 90 whatever, right? Like, fucking love that movie.
I haven't seen it either.
So good.
It's so fucking good. And that's just a joyful film
so
too.
funny.
But these things these did not break the mainstream because they were not Oscar bait. You know? Like, Big Eden, you're right, it's a Hallmark film. They could have fucking put this on fucking Lifetime. And if I had watched that in 2000, shit would have been so fucking different. You know what I mean? But they didn't do that because that shit didn't break the mainstream.
Well, I still think that, like, well, I don't know enough about The Birdcage to say this, but, like, it's production value. Like, that's why Brokeback Mountain was so talked about. It was, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger. And I know I said this, that they're not attractive, but they're not just not conventionally attractive, but they're also not, like, big name actors. This isn't, you know, shot in a technical skill or
someone
anything
had
like that,
to
which is
pitch
why this
this.
movie. So
Someone
had to pitch this to an indie studio and ask them, "Hey, are you willing to help me see this vision through?"
Brokeback Mountain was like all about the tragedy. People love tragedy. They just want
Brokeback
to go
Mountain was
after
about
bad.
a short story that was expanded upon.
Yeah,
It's
but
still a
people
tragedy. It
Want
was
to
a
see
tragedy.
the
Yeah.
tragedy. I would go see the tragedy over a happy story. Is most people's like inclination. Like, how many times
Sure.
have we amongst ourselves say like, well, I don't care about rom-coms because you want to see the tragedy or the spooky
I want to
instead of
feel
the
something.
instead of feeling feelings.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, like, for its time, like, let's remember, like, 80s was full of like the HIV AIDS crisis, and then 10 years later, after many people's like favorite people have passed on, like, for this movie to come out and it's a happy ending, it's like so critical. Like,
fucking
I
healing,
wish it
dude.
broke out into the mainstream, you know, that things can turn out well, but the mainstream don't want to see that. They want to see the tragedy.
And it's also like, sure, production value, but like Ang Lee or, you know, directors have to pitch this, and people are gonna throw money at the time at a tragedy. I was looking up like which queer movies broke the mainstream, and I completely forgot about this. Before Brokeback, the first one that broke through was fucking Philadelphia with Tom Hanks, and Philadelphia was a tragedy. They fucking died. You know, those were the first ones that broke through. And I will say, and this is a separate conversation. So yeah, this is such a contrast to that, because like these non-mainstream ones, full of joy. Some of them with some hardships, like I mentioned, Paris is Burning, right? There's so much joy, but there's like real life hardship in there.
Of course.
And something else that I've been thinking about, I'm like, I will take tragedy, but I'm tired of the white gay tragedy. And I was talking about this with my brother. We were talking about Moonlight, which is on our list. That is a tragedy. Not a it's like there's a, you know, a good ending, but there's so much tragic elements, but that is being told, that is a non-white story being told, right? It's tragedies of like that don't get the mainstream. Like my friend Esteban has a queer film of his that he really loves, and it's an Indian one, right? I talk a lot about Portrait of a Woman on Fire, which is French. That also is a tragic, but it has lesbians, which I feel like doesn't get represented as much. So I love a tragedy, as long as it's not this fucking same shit that we've been getting for decades.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we saw with Call Me By Your Name, too.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, I can't wait to watch The Birdcage.
I
Next
love The
Pride,
Birdcage.
Moonlight and The
Oh my
Birdcage.
God.
Mom, we'll see you next June.
Anyway, that was good stuff. What amazing discourse. What things
Truly.
that we uncovered.
Also, it's now streaming on Amazon Prime.
Go watch it.
It is.
So
So,
go
you
check
should
it
go
out.
watch it.
Go check it out.
You want a good fun time? You want a gay old time? Go watch it.
We'll have a gay old time.
You want to be rootin' and tootin'?
By God, be kind.
And that concludes this episode of Sit Down Loser. We're watching a movie. See you next time.
Bye, losers.